Hey, so I was recently reached out by this guy called David Quan, who graduated with a 44 in IB. And we got talking and we thought it'd be a good idea to interview him on my channel. And really, all I do is I ask him three questions, right? Um, when did he really feel overwhelmed in the IB? What did he think he did right that others get wrong? Like, what gave him that edge over others? And since he's starting a YouTube channel as well on the IB, how does he plan to help the IB community? And really, I'm gonna let him talk, but I just want you to pay attention to two things. First thing is that there were points in his IB journey that he felt also really overwhelmed, and secondly, which I think is a bit more important, is that he surrounded himself with smarter people than him, and he could learn from them. And really, he talks about how he got little tips and tricks that just gave him that extra edge in the IB. All right, I'm gonna let David take it on from here.
Hi Cole, firstly thank you so much for interviewing me. It's such a great honour to be in contact with you. So your first question, when did I feel really overwhelmed in the IB? Well, the answer is all the time. No, but I think the most difficult period must have been during the IAs, because I heard so much about the stress that your EE and IAs can cause in year one. All the sleepless nights and all the balancing with your test revision. So I remember making this bold decision that I wanted to get all my IAs and EEs done in year one, and of course the works in translation, before year two had begun. So in term 4 of year 11, I was truly like a man with a mission, having to research potential IA topics, read through HL contents to draw inspiration, reading articles, perform, and failing a lot of experiments, all on top of my exam revision and learning new content in class. I think it's the uncertainty with the IA topics and all the failed data experiments attempts that caused a lot of stress, as I felt like I was not making enough progress. And after that term of grind, during the Christmas holiday, which was 6 or 7 weeks long, I just remember working almost 10 hours a day to complete my EE and IAs, and I was so overwhelmed looking back now, which is funny since all the deadlines are actually due in 5 months' time. But in retrospect, I think that period definitely paid off, and I'm glad that I was so overwhelmed and had all the pressure, because that's what kept me accountable and to not procrastinate on things. So your second question, what did I do right and others do wrong? Well, that's a difficult question, because the concept of right or wrong is a subjective one, and I think certainly everyone's experience is unique and different. So it's not really a matter of what I did right or others did wrong or vice versa. Instead, I think I've just been extremely lucky with all the supporting network that I had. Firstly, I think my teachers were all very knowledgeable, supportive and understanding. Obviously, they've had their experience of guiding, cohorts of students, and their guidance throughout my time really did make a difference. I've also appreciated the encouragements and empathy from my pastoral care network, particularly my head of house and IB coordinator. I just always felt like I could talk to someone, and that was extremely important. Secondly, I think my classmates engendered such a fun environment of learning. We genuinely wanted each other to succeed, and we shared resources, we motivated and made fun of each other. So I think that would have made a difference in my learning as well. And finally, I think what went right is that I've had all these past graduates who answered so many of my questions and gave the most helpful and valuable advice. They were truly role models, and I feel forever indebted by their support, because I wouldn't have ever known the numerous little tips and shortcuts that allowed me to work smarter as well as harder. So I guess, Cole, it's not that I did anything particularly right or others did anything wrong. I was just very fortunate to have the opportunity to study the IB with such a supportive network of people. Well, Carl, your final question, what do I hope to do to help future IB students and perhaps using my channel to make a difference? Well, this idea of service and giving back has always been something that has been instilled in me from a very young age, and gratitude is also one of my top character strengths, and I just love the idea of paying things forwards. So as you have seen, that my IB journey was made easier by people like you who willingly shared personal experiences and advice. And whilst I'm not a professional YouTuber, obviously, but I feel like I can also contribute, as small as it can be, something valuable. I'm not really seeking to revolutionise the world, but who knows? Someone on the opposite side of the globe could just benefit, and that would make this whole process very meaningful for me. So I see YouTube and the current technological advancements in online learning as almost like a democratization of knowledge, and it's just a privilege to be a small part of it. So thank you for having me, Cole, and I look forward to our continued partnership.
Notice how David said that he didn't do anything right. He was just really fortunate to have smart people around him. Well, I'd like to add something. You see, what I think what really helped David is that he put himself purposefully in a position where he was surrounded by people who were smarter than him. Like, he was the one who reached out to his teachers, to past IB students, to other people who he knew he could learn from. And how many of us, right? Like, let's say there's a really smart teacher in your school, but he may not be your direct teacher. Maybe he teaches your friend, but he's a genius at the subject. But we don't actually put forth the effort to go and talk to the guy. Or maybe your best friend, like a friend in school, has a sister who graduated with a 45. Are we putting ourselves in a position, are we taking the effort to actually talk to these guys? Because you think about it, these people, right, the people like who are absolutely geniuses at their subject, if you're able to talk to them, right, even though they may not be in your direct circle, like it may not be super easy to talk to them, but if you put yourself in a position, put forth the effort to talk to these people, to gain their insight, to get advice, you're getting insight from people who have a proven track record to get great IB scores, who have a proven track record to beat the system. So I think if anything you're going to learn from this video, learn that the more you surround yourself with smarter people, the more you take advantage of relationships with people who are smarter than you in the IB, so much more you will have that edge to get better IB scores. So remember, everybody has these people. It's just, are you going to put yourself in a position to talk to these people? All right. Hope that video helped, and I hope you enjoyed.